Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered how you could get back up when life has thrown you a punch to the gut? My name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, and the facilitator of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to equip healthcare professionals to be wealthy in all areas of their lives. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. You can follow us on Twitter at the Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing. And if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please share this video. We have a group called the Nurse Nurturer on Facebook that you can join to receive uplifting content for healthcare professionals. You can visit us at our website at vpnursing.com. And don't forget to hit the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and leverage the knowledge you already know as a nurse. Our special guest today is Malissa Sampson. Melissa Sampson currently serves as a clinical nurse educator at Duke University School of Nursing and the Accelerated BSN program and works per diem as an emergency department nurse at UNC Rex Healthcare. She earned her BSN and MSN with a concentration in nursing education from East Carolina University. In addition to facilitating learning, she uses her role and platform to engage students in discussions and intentional personal reflection about biases and discrimination within healthcare and our society. For almost a decade, Melissa has used her clinical experience as an emergency department nurse and triumph in personal hardship to encourage, mentor, educate, and precept nursing students and nurses alike while providing patient-centered care. So welcome, welcome. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Melissa was a baby nurse in the emergency department when I
Yes,
was there.
yes.
So we're gonna start. So, what was your primary reasoning for becoming a nurse?
Well, I honestly, I knew I wanted to help people. Initially, I thought like, oh, I think I'm gonna go and be a doctor. That's where all the razzle dazzle is. The more I really started learning more about what they did, I'm like, the nurse is the one who has the most contact with the patient and the one who is like literally the closest touch. So I was like, that's what I want to do.
Okay, all right, good, good. Now you began your nursing journey in the emergency department. Why did
Mhm.
you start in the ER as opposed to the traditional med surg route?
So the truth is, it's all happenstance, honestly. Um,
Okay.
my final semester of nursing school, I actually got a chance to precept in the ED. And the truth was, I was scared. I mean, my preceptor said I was doing well, but on the inside, I'm like, oh my gosh. What? And so one of the things I know that I have struggled with, and I still call myself a recovering procrastinator. I didn't apply for jobs in a timely manner. And so it actually just happened to happen that most of the new preceptorship or new nursing programs had ended their applications. But God always lets things work out the way they're supposed to. And so Nash was actually the only place who still had like an application open. And so it happened to be in the ED. I said, well, scared me, but at least I know a little bit about what I'm getting into. And of the rotations I had experienced in school, this was definitely the one that was the most exhilarating of it all. So I was like, let's give it a go.
So now, what was your most challenging thing that happened, like your first days in the emergency department?
Oh gosh, we don't have enough time for that, Viola. I think the thing that was hard, definitely first starting out, was literally just getting with the pace. I think and nursing students really don't understand because, nursing school is just so, it really is a nice little hole and incubator, and protection. um, but to really be out on your own, I'm like, man, it's a lot faster pace. So having to get with the pace, having to now navigate new professional environments, of course, that being my first professional job, had other jobs previously, but navigating those relationships, deciding the type of coworker and teammate you want to be. And yeah, I think those are probably some of the hardest parts. On top of being a new nurse, realizing that nursing school really is just the beginning of your learning. And the fear with that,
Mhm.
quite honestly, the fear with that, and having to do a lot of prayer and encouraging of myself to project me forward to get beyond the fear, or at least work through my fear until I wasn't afraid.
And I think one of the things that I learned in the emergency room, and that it was just very pivotal for me, is that I learned that, you are meeting people at their life and death stages most of the time. And, you are that conduit, that helps. I mean, God, of course, is a God. He's the one that, makes them live or die. But, you are the one who is the hands on that patient. And that is that can be sometimes difficult. And the emergency department really, really builds you. Like you said, that pace is unreal. It is
Mhm.
unreal. It is go, 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 go. You don't have time to procrastinate. You don't have time to stop.
Absolutely.
You have got to just move, 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 because the the timeliness of the care determines the outcome of the patient. And so you have
Absolutely.
to be very, very, on pace with that. So yes, for sure. I love what you said about that. So now when we talked, you told me about a story about you going from ER to transport and then having
Mhm.
to go back to the ER. Tell us about that time.
Yeah. So I had, grown up from being a baby nurse, as you said, and I was, ready to transition. I had just gotten my master's, and so I'm like, I'm ready to step out now. And one of the things that were open was a critical transport position, and very excited to do this job. And then got in it and was realizing I am not catching on. So the devastation and honestly embarrassment you feel when it's like, man, I just got a degree. I've been excelling, or I've been successful previously in things that I have attempted. Maybe I struggled a little bit, but eventually I got my footing, and it just was not coming together. And so eventually, they were like, you know what? They realized it too, and said, it's not working out, but we like you. And so that's one of I really tell people, I'm like, you still can decide who you want to be, how you want to engage people. Because sometimes, even though one door will close for you, definitely another door will open. And they were like, we like you. We like you. And so let me see, I know you were an ER nurse before. Let me see if we can get you back in the ER at the hospital. And so they did. And I was grateful very much to be employed, because again, I had
That's
job at
right.
that point. Very, very grateful to be employed. But again, there's definitely that embarrassment, honestly, that comes with realizing, man, you were not successful in the position. You had just left and had a whole big hoopla of, oh, congratulations, Melissa, you're going to start this new big journey. And it's like, it seems this journey is coming to an end very quickly. So yeah, a lot of embarrassment, a lot of blow to your confidence, really, in your knowledge, in your skill. And it's like, man, I've been precept and training other people. Maybe that's not even what I'm meant to do. And yeah, so gave up precept. Plus, I was also new to the facility, but didn't want to precept, trying to keep a low profile, because I'm still having to see the people who were my former coworkers, come
Right.
pick up patients and all. And it's like, you just feel like everybody knows. Maybe they don't, but those are stories we tell ourselves sometimes.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
And I think that one of the things that, because I dealt with something very similar, and one of the things that I, because I was a charge nurse and I was a flow nurse. And when I, got kind of demoted from those two positions, I walked back into the emergency department and I felt like I was, you feel like people are looking at you, right? But the reality is that you have to fail forward, right? And you have
Mhm.
to make those decisions. Like you said, I was glad to be employed. And the emergency department was where I loved to be, right? But I had to make those decisions, right? I had to say, okay, this is okay. And one of the greatest things that I've learned since then is that everybody else's opinion of you is none of your business. Okay. It is your opinion of you that matters. And so I was like, yeah, but I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that. And when you walk into those situations, it's hard. So now tell us about what was your feeling when you walked back into the ER for the first time?
Well, first, again, relief to be employed, relief that at least I know this. This is something that I do know. I just got to learn how they do it here. Um, but again, still battling those, honestly, the negative self-talk of, man, didn't think I would be back here so soon. This is not what my trajectory was supposed to be. Um, so still nervous, again, another professional environment that I'm having to learn, what are the new norms and such here. So definitely a lot of nerves.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Now, what is some advice you would give someone that feels like they failed and just kind of how to move forward?
So the probably the biggest advice, which I know sounds pretty cliche, but it's truly, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't lose faith, and focus on those things that are true. Focus on what you know to be true. And for me personally, what I knew was, I had been successful as a ER nurse before. I had struggled in the beginning, but eventually, was able to train others and see them go off and do well. I knew that, I had persevered and actually went and gotten back and gotten another degree. So it's like I'm capable of achievement. I'm capable of greatness. And even with that failure of not being successful in the critical care transport, God still opened up another door to allow me to still continue and press forward. And I think it's also really critical that you continue to speak life over yourself.
That's right. That's right.
And surround yourself with people who can also speak life into you.
That's right. Now that is a word right there.
Because
Because
sometimes you're not
sometimes you
doing it.
can't do it, right? You
Because
have a
sometimes
hard
it's not there.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes it's not there, but you need people who are truly in your corner, who can also help remind you about who you are and who God says you are.
I love it. I love it. That's sum total of the five people you hang out with the most. And the fact of the matter is that you getting back up is that thing, right? It's easy. It's easy to fail. We all gonna fail. Every last one of us. But the reality is that as we fail, we have to understand that in those moments, we need to know that getting back up is the thing that we all have to do. And it is those, again, I say if you fail 20 times and you get up 21, then you have succeeded. The
Hmm.
problem is that we fail and we land that failure and then we don't ever get back up, and that is not cool, right? And so I
Right.
love it. I love it. Now, your story did not end with the road back
No.
to the ER. Tell us why you needed to go back to the ER and the steps that led you to where you are now.
Um, I God knew because I didn't hadn't planned on it, but God knew I need to go back to the ER to start building up that confidence again, and then to start exposing me to other encouragers and mentors. And so I end up having a really supportive team leader or shift leader, like supervisor. And she was like, "Hey, you have this degree. You should be teaching. You should be." And I'm just like, no, again, trying to have a low profile. I'm like, I'm just trying to stay in my lane, go to my job. Give me some time and maybe we might again. Um, but she always was just really encouraging. And so eventually I started precepting there again too, even though I hadn't been there for very long. And so just so happened I precepted a nursing student. I actually wasn't even her primary preceptor. It was just kind of when her primary couldn't be there, then I would serve as her preceptor, and gave her feedback for midterms and finals and such. And so her clinical instructor was like, noticed the feedback I had written and was like, we really are looking for clinical instructors at Duke. You should reach out to like one of the clinical placement directors. And it's like, people say things. It's like, okay, yeah, thank you so much. But, why not give it a chance? You've already been embarrassed one time, somebody didn't say no. So let's go for it. And reached out, and the person was like, I can't hire you specifically, but I'll pass your name along. Okay. And so long and the short, I ended up getting an interview with the faculty there for their foundations nursing course to be a clinical instructor. So then my first education job using my degree that I had gotten, like 2 years prior, because I hadn't been able to use it, was at Duke. And it's like, how amazing is that? So then loving my clinical instructor life, been there about a year, again, meeting more people who can pour into my life, found another person who we just clicked and was very encouraging, not only to my professional development, but to my soul and my spirit. And a full-time position, this clinical nurse educator role became available. And of course, I was like, again, that negative self-talk sometimes that we speak to ourselves. I'm like, I'm not qualified for this. There literally are people who have been doing this my entire life to do this full-time. Not at this big mega university that people talk about on TV. They're not going to use me for the job. So I didn't even apply. And was talking to, my mentor about it. And she was like, what do you mean you haven't applied? I've been speaking your name. I've been talking about people. I've been talking about you to other people with influence. Why have you not put your application in now? I'm telling you, this is real life. And put in the application, and they chose me.
Let me tell you, what God has for you, it's for you.
I'm telling, seriously, was not going to apply, was late. I was like a month or two, people had applied for this job. And I was like, Lord, ain't no, I've only been at this place a year. I've only been part-time at this place a year. There are people who've been here several years. There are people who have been educators a lot longer than I have. This is my first time using my degree. What are they going to see in me? And God was like, why not you?
That's exactly right. Oh my God, I love
it. And so it still is very humbling and amazing to me how delay does not mean denial.
That's exactly right.
How your first failure does not have to be your last. And honestly, it just means that you've kept living and God is giving you another day to try again and to do better. And how if you've already decided the type of coworker, teammate, whoever you're going to be, and you do that, then you and your personality and God's favor will still allow you to progress forward, even though you thought your journey had taken a major detour. It really was just another exit to where you needed to go.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I love it. I love it. And I can't see who the people who are commenting, but someone said, wow, this is so good. On point. Thank you both. Positive affirmations. Be a person that lifts others. And that's so, so true. That's so, so true. So I love it.
And the thing is, it's like, I'm not trying to pretend like I'm this always positive self-talk person. This is something I still regularly have to no, Melissa, you need to be saying this about yourself. You need to be saying this about your life, stopping those thoughts. This is still something that is part of my journey. But then sometimes you just really and again, those times when you really start going those negative stories, it's like, no, what do I know to be true? And what I know to be true is all the things that I've already seen in my life where I have been successful, where God has shown up for me, where favor has been on my life. So focus on what you know and what you know to be true. That's kind of been the thing that kind of helps quiet some of those negative stories I tell myself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now, who is someone that has impacted your nursing career, and why were they so impactful?
I've had many impactful people who have come and spoken into my life in times that I needed it. Definitely starting out, baby nurse in the ED. There was a nurse by the name of Beverly Veal.
Oh, Bev.
Bev. And I really needed that support and also that tough love and that real honest, real talk.
She'll give it to you too,
She
won't she?
will. She will. But I needed that thickening of my skin. And she was there to help do that for me. Some other people, again, this supervisor, Megan McCormick, who still was like, hey, you have the qualifications. Why are you not? And then a couple of my mentors now, Lucretia Bell and Danette Canty, people who again can speak to your professional growth along with your spirit at the same time. I've had some really, really beautiful people and a host of other coworkers and people who I love. But as far as nursing, like those are kind of some of those critical life moments for me where I needed to hear something and they were able to say it to me.
I love it. I love it. So now, what is some advice you would give a nurse that is beginning their nursing journey for the first time?
I think the biggest advice again was number one, realizing that nursing school is really just the beginning of your journey.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it was my own arrogance to think that I had learned what I needed to know to be successful. I don't know what that was about, but I don't think I fully understood. It really is just the beginning. And so coming into this with a learner's heart, wanting to learn, ready to learn, being willing to evaluate your own performance.
And it changes. And that's the thing about nursing is that once the evidence comes out, like if they develop some new evidence-based practice, then it changes, right?
Yes,
Because the
yes,
body is so complex. And so don't don't be taught that you're afraid because you just need to know the latest evidence. You need to
yes.
go there and then you can move forward.
And acknowledge it, because I tell people this. I said, look, I'm like, you're afraid to ask so many questions because you think people are going to think you're stupid. I'm like, look, first of all, you've also passed your nursing exam. You're not stupid because that test is hard. Okay. So the person who is dangerous is the person who doesn't ask questions. Okay. So ask the questions, but also know where to find the answers, know how to access policies, know how to access procedures so that you can know for yourself, because sometimes Billy Sue might not have read a policy in 5 years. And so she's telling you what she knows, and she doesn't mean any harm. But she might not know the latest and the greatest. So you got to know how to find it for yourself too when it comes to that. The other piece of advice I would give is to give yourself grace. Again, I don't know why we think that we know everything that we need to know and that we are perfected nurses when we graduate nursing school. But recognize that this is also still new for you. Even though you've had however many clinical hours you've had, graduated from a wonderful, school, this is still new to you. And so advocate for your learning. Figure out what learning style works best for you, because sometimes some preceptors are used to teaching a certain way, but maybe that's not how you learn. So figure out what's your learning style. Figure out how what's going to be more effective for your relationship with your preceptor. Recognize again that this is your first time in this position, and so you need to give yourself some grace as well. But then be honest with yourself too about your level of trying and your level of intent. If I was really, really honest with myself, I think when I first started out in critical care transport, I was distracted, and did not give it the full hardcore that I could have, which led to my ultimate, I'm essentially firing from that position. But again, sometimes, anyway, I don't want to go back on that trip again about how things will work out for you in the end. if you keep on going. But
That's good. That's good. And I think that us as nurses, a lot of times what we do is we try to be perfect. And,
Mhm.
and I have a friend who she put up a post and the post had a misspelled word. And let me tell you something. If you followed me before, you know that I will put up a post that has a misspelled word. And what I told her, I said, because I try my best to give myself grace a lot. And I struggle with it as well. But the thing, and I told her, I said, you know what? I said, would you rather me know how to spell CPR or would you rather me know how to do CPR? Because
that part.
I'm good at
That
doing
part.
CPR. I'm just saying.
Listen,
Now, how important is mentors in the nursing world?
it is so critical. It is so critical. Because again, mentors are those people who can speak that life into you, who can also correct you though with love. And you need that because what we do is physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausting.
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 Mhm.
And so you need people who can fill your bucket, who, when you are down, can kind of still kind of pull you along a little bit in your journey sometimes when maybe you're not able to walk as straight. So you need those people. And I think the thing that's nice now is that we may be given more of a title to it, the term mentor. And I think that allows for more buy-in from people. They feel more invested in you when they recognize that they are mentoring you, facilitating your growth, however you want to describe it. But
Yeah.
so important because you need those people who can pour into you.
Now, how do you define wealth?
Wealth to me is more so about your complete wellness. So your mental wellness, your physical wellness, your financial wellness, all of those things, and your contentment with your position in life. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have, $1 million now. Would that be nice? Of course it would. But you have to have that to be wealthy. If you are content with who you are as a person, you're content with the circles you surrounded yourself with. You're content with your journey in life. And contentment doesn't mean that you don't want to progress either.
Right. Right.
It just means you can be happy where you are.
Right.
That, then I think you have wealth.
I love it. I love it. Now, you have some exciting news. Now, let us see the result of that exciting news. Woo!
Oh!
I love it. I love it. So we are getting married.
Yes. Yes, we are.
I love it. So
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So it has been such a pleasure, such a pleasure with you. So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce, owner and CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to equip healthcare professionals to be wealthy in all areas of our lives, all areas of their lives. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders such as Melissa that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. You can follow us on Twitter at The Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing, and if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please share this video. We have a group called The Nurse Nurturer on Facebook that you can join to receive uplifting content for healthcare professionals. Visit us at our website at vpnursing.com and don't forget to hit the calendar link if you want to create another stream of income and leverage the knowledge you already know as a nurse. You guys have a phenomenal, phenomenal day.